Mr. Jide Olatubosun, a member of the House Committee on Appropriation, agrees that banks aid illicit financial flows as monies don't leave the country through the popularly known Ghana must go bags.
Well, it's a general perception that our banks are involved in aiding illicit financial outflows from Nigeria. And to a large extent, I want to agree with that school of thought, because the kind of funds that are moving out, you will discover that it's not that they carry them in Ghana must go bags, but through connivance with our banks, those funds are taken out of the country. So I agree with it absolutely. We have the Money Laundering Act of 2011 as amended. I think the challenge is whether the provisions are enough to tackle the magnitude of the outflows that you have. You know, it is easier to steal money than to recover it. You go to the courts, you are there for 10 years, 5 years, you have a lot of adjournments. So there's a law, but we may need to look at that law again in terms of is it potent enough for the scope of illicit flows that we are talking about. We need to do that very quickly. You know, the law was passed in 2011, the Money Laundering Act. That was 6 years ago. We need to look at the provisions of that law again, because if we say we have a law and offenders are not being caught, prosecuted and punished, it means the law is not effective.
Mr. Olatubosun insists that with the Money Laundering Act, illicit financial flows will be tackled head-on, but shares his reservation about the lack of political will.
There's a lot of hypocrisy from the Igbo people. You know, the last time the former UK Prime Minister said Nigerians are fantastically corrupt. The president even asked him to retract that statement. He just said, okay, it's fine, just bring the money. What has been happening is that they will say we are corrupt here, but it is their own banks. You know, London and New York, they are the major financial centers in the world. There's no way you are going to move any money from anywhere that don't pass through these centers. And those are banks owned not by Nigerians, but by people over there. So, really, they are not doing enough. But I know that with, they call it mutual legal assistance that we have signed in some countries, very soon we'll start seeing results of people that have stolen money, they've gone abroad to hide. They'll start bringing them back. But a lot still needs to be done. If you don't have the will, even with the best of legislation, you won't achieve anything. Right now in Nigeria, we must come to a national consensus that we want to fight corruption so that our country will be better. Because the major cause of underdevelopment in this country is corruption. We've made so much money, but we can't see it on the ground. Even when they said the economy was growing at 7%, 7% growth for, let's say, 8 years, year on year, you know what that means? It means it will have doubled. But we can't see it in the standard of living of the people. So, definitely, we don't have the will to fight the corruption. Then also, Nigerians also must take a stand. The ordinary man. Do they want this country to move forward by ensuring that people that have made ill-gotten wealth, they are arrested, prosecuted, and the money is collected from them? It's going to take a while. It's easy to steal money, but to collect it from whoever has stolen is always very challenging. So we must be ready to go the whole hog to ensure that we get the money back.
Mr. Jones Onyerere, also a member of the House of Representatives, says outside the laws, there are policies and regulations that should check illegal financial flows.
Yeah, there are laws. I mean, we've never had problems with laws. I mean, we're always training our laws, amending where necessary. But the point is on the implementation. There are laws to checkmate this. And even if there are no laws, there are policy directives to checkmate this. Because in the first place, the banks don't run on their own. They have regulatory bodies. So it's the prerogative of the regulatory bodies based on the extant provisions of their acts or the different acts that set up these agencies to make sure that they monitor the inflow and outflow of monies. And I mean, at the click of the button, you know exactly what is going on. I'm sure in the last 2 years, it must have reduced to the barest minimum, because all monies to the very last penny, except for a few agencies that have not been able to bring their money into the TSA, you know, because they have these huge sums, what they call internally generated revenue, which, for all you know, has not been adequately accounted for. So, you know, it's still a process, an ongoing process. And I'm sure that the TSA, if you look at the books, in fact, that's the challenge that we have in Nigeria, the inability of the fiscal authority to come up with exact sums, like it happens in other climes, to say, yes, this is the money that we have received from TSA, that before now, this is what has been going on in the past years, and look at the differential, that shows that XYZ amount of money, you know, that we suspect that such monies would have been taken out of the country illegally, you know, but nobody has all these statistics, and that is why it's worrisome. Because if we had, then we know whether we're actually making progress. But I want to assume offhand that we're actually making progress.
He believes agencies can do more.
Sadly, nothing has been done, and it's worrisome. And I'll give you an example which looks quite local, but it makes a huge sense. Look at the era of 419. They are busy catching Nigerians doing 419 without looking at the white men that are being led by greed. Because how would somebody come to you to say, I have these huge sums that you should come and help me to get it out or whatever? And then all of a sudden, you are working in partnership with the person. And then the white men will come here, get hold of our boys, and then leave theirs. Exactly what is happening with illicit funds. They connived with these foreign banks. So why are they letting go the foreign banks? They should shut those banks until they bring back every single dollar that has been put into the account. Why would you not ask questions? Didn't you know that these funds were illegally taken to your banks? So we must have a way, and that is why this collaboration is very important. You know, we have. It's not necessarily their mandate, you know, with respect to foreign affairs and all that. But in the course of their discussions, they should bring all these things on board. The point is, if I were a leader, I'll take an alternative, for lack of a better word, method of going about this. Because the truth of the matter is that you give the directive, so amount of money should not be seen to get out of anybody's account. And if there is, then you should blow the alarm. And then let's begin to ask questions. Because we know how much everybody earns. That's the honest truth. It's not hidden. If you are doing proper businesses, we know how much expectedly that you should have inflow and outflow. There are records. So the moment you begin to ask questions, and it's all about leadership, everybody will sit up.